Tonight, surveying some of the damage and debris resulting from tonight's severe weather.
And right now, let's start in the studio. We have Adam Caskey, Katie Blake, Sarah Spivey.
Yeah, our entire weather team has been following this all night. Let's go ahead and start with Adam. And Adam, we've been under a few warnings tonight. Where do we stand as of right now?
We still have severe thunderstorm warnings, especially in Comal County and northern Guadalupe County, but also southern Bexar County. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that includes the south side of San Antonio, particularly along the I-35 corridor. Now that you get the general motion of these storms, I'm going to stop the loop and focus right now on large hail, about the size of golf balls, and the potential for a tornado. We're talking north side of New Braunfels and especially just north of 337 here in New Braunfels and toward Royal Forest, headed towards San Marcos. And this is just on the edge of Canyon Lake. So this purple area north of New Braunfels, that's where we have what's likely the golf ball size hail embedded within this storm and that potential for a tornado. We go to the south side of San Antonio, even downtown, got another round that's moving in. This could have some large hail as well, likely has large hail associated with it. This is moving to the northeast, just like the other one at about 35 miles per hour. So let's just pop up the hail along with the radar. The white is going to indicate the hail, the main hail within the storm, which is near Natalia at this time. And let's just time out the hail, because that's what, of course, one of the primary threats with this. Northeast at about 35, and that would bring the hail to Somerset at 10:26. Elmendorf a little closer to 11 p.m., China Grove closer to 11 p.m., but even Somerset momentarily 10:26 is when you could have that hail. Natalia, of course, more momentarily as well. That's just with the hail associated with that storm. We have other storms that have been developing off to the west. This isn't just a one and done situation. We're looking at the potential for multiple severe thunderstorms into the night and early morning hours. Switching radars back to Brackettville and Del Rio. There you have it. There's more activity that continues to pop up. At any point, this stuff can strengthen and give us some damaging winds, large hail, and maybe even a brief tornado, as we have seen. Speaking of hail, take a look at this hail swath from the storm that is now over Comal County. This is the hail that it dropped earlier today from basically Del Rio and Uvalde area eastward. Big hail swaths out there from these storms so far tonight, and we're seeing more of that fall down. Not everybody's going to be getting the big hail. Fortunately, not everybody gets it, but even within San Antonio, you look at this swath of hail, especially the west side of town, SeaWorld, up to Leon Valley. Then you get to Medical Center, you get to Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak area, Garden Ridge, and even the potential for that tornado within near this large hail on the north side of New Braunfels. Basically between New Braunfels and Canyon Lake, that's the biggest threat at the moment. We don't want to discount the heavy rainfall, as we've seen a lot of that, and we have had some water rescues because we've had a lot of rainfall, and I do think we'll add more to it. But you look at just the 12-hour rain. I know those of you at Elmendorf, China Grove, southeast side of San Antonio, where's my rain? It's missed you so far, but you've got that next storm that's moving in. So far, Medical Center area, and even on the west side of town, we've seen these rainfall accumulations on the order of 2 to 3.5 inches within this yellow swath. So that's what we've seen, and we're going to add a little bit more to it, and we still have the more potential all the way through about the 4 a.m. hour.
All right, we want to head to Justin Horn, who has been in Storm Chaser all evening. We understand, Justin, you are at 410. What are you seeing there?
It looks like the shot just froze on Storm Chaser, but he earlier saw a basically water rescue. Somebody drove into water that was over the hood of the car, basically stalled out, and actually a guy with a chain hooked his pickup up and pulled the car out. And I saw him tweet just moments ago, somebody else is driving right into the high water in the 410 Culebra, 410 Bandera area. So Justin Horn is kind of stuck out in that area with all the high water. We're going to check in with him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, we do have crews out tracking these storms tonight. We're getting some reports of some minor damage in various parts of town tonight in our viewing area.
Yeah, let's check in with the night team's Jonathan Cotto, who is live. He is out and about. I know, Jonathan, at one point you were responding to one of these many water rescues. Where are you at right now, and what is it like?
Steve, I'm out here in Leon Valley, right off of Heath Road, where at the distance, as you can see, this road is completely at a standstill. We have SAPD here keeping any traffic from going past this point. Now, as you can see, water level is pretty deep. We can only assume that it's pretty deep from this distance. And at the distance, there's currently a water rescue underway. Police have told us that they haven't been able to get to the car. The car is still in the water. Water is about up to halfway above the car. We can't tell you what kind of car it is at the moment, but this is an example of what those heavy rains from earlier has caused. Now, we will be staying here on live. We're going to be keeping up with police and their reports as to how this water rescue will unfold. Steve.
All right, Jonathan, keep us updated on exactly what's going on out there. But as you're making your way out there, Jonathan, what did you see? What did you guys experience weather-wise making your way out to the Leon Valley area?
Steve, you know, as we were making our way down to Leon Valley, we noticed that there are just the accumulation of water, pockets of water along the shoulders of roadways, which are presenting a bit of a hazard for drivers. So driving with caution is highly advised as motor vehiclists are making their way either to home or from work, or it is advised to stay at home. But that's something that we did notice, the accumulation of water along the shoulders of the roadways.
All right, Jonathan Cotto live in Leon Valley. We'll probably check in with you again before this newscast is over. Thank you, Jonathan. With the storms come power outages, and we have seen the number of power outages just grow throughout the evening. Here's a live look at the CPS Energy power outage map. Right now, you can see there are more than 100 active outages, 32,913 customers affected right now. If you see any damaged power lines, call 911, or you can call CPS Energy at 210-353-4327. Remember, you want to treat all downed wires as if they are live.
We also want to give you a live look right now at the Bexar County flood map. This shows the emergency road closures due to the flooding. This is something we've also been monitoring all night. At one point, it was as low as 12. Right now, those little red dots on your screen, those are all road closures. That number now stands at 32. So remember, if you see water on the road, as we always say, turn around, don't drown. And as always, we'll have all the latest on the storm and the storm damage, both on air and online at KSAT.com. We'll be right back. All right, the weather situation outside right now, the big story of the night. We have been under a few warnings tonight, and these will continue as we go into the overnight hours.
Yeah, and right now as we speak, it seems as if there's storms on either side of San Antonio. And let's go right to Adam Caskey because there is a tornado warning right now for the New Braunfels area.
Yeah, that is for the New Braunfels area, especially New Braunfels, just north of New Braunfels. That's for this red polygon that you see here. And it's starting to move away from New Braunfels, but New Braunfels is still right on the edge. I would say some of the worst of this storm is Wimberley to San Marcos to Hunter, and that's where the largest hail and even the biggest rotation within that storm lies at the moment. That's where we still have the tornado warning. So those of you in northeastern Comal County, basically from Canyon Lake to San Marcos to Wimberley to New Braunfels, that whole area, you need to seek shelter, interior room, away from windows. Don't go outside. Don't try to look at this, away from windows as much as possible. Then we talked about the next storm. It's on the south side of San Antonio and even basically moving into downtown. This is a severe thunderstorm that could have some hail about the size of ping pong balls or golf balls associated with it. And that's moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So we can time that out for folks that would be who already got rainfall and maybe a little bit of hail. Here comes another system that's headed your way, and we'll time that out there. This will be affecting more so eastern Bexar County and northeastern Bexar County. That would make it to China Grove at about 10:30, Lavernia close to 10:51, and then Santa Clara and Seguin area a little closer to 11 p.m. So that's the timing. But right now, the leading edge of this is moving right into San Antonio, especially south of downtown, along Highway 90. Lackland, here we go again, another round of heavy rain and the potential for the large hail. But I don't see the same returns with this storm in terms of the large hail threat that we did the previous storm, where we had the confirmed large hail up to about ping pong to golf ball size near the Lackland area. This purple area, Lytle to La Costa, Atascosa, that's where we have the primary hail threat. That's, of course, within the severe thunderstorm warning, but that's the primary hail threat within this storm. And that hail threat is moving northeasterly toward the Highway 90 corridor right along I-35. We also have storm spotter reports. Now, the thunderstorm that currently has the tornado warning in Comal County, now Wimberley, San Marcos area as well, that had a history of tornadic activity near Castroville. Here's a storm report out of Castroville. This was at 8:16 p.m. Reports of an RV flipped, several trees uprooted, fences blown down, and irrigation pipes twisted. The time was estimated, of course, via radar, but the actual report came in from an individual out there. Not only that, but very large hail, 2.5 inches in diameter. That was just west of Castroville, 2.5 inches in diameter. I mean, we're talking tennis ball size hail from the storm earlier. Right now, we don't have anything quite so large. Nonetheless, we have the big threat of straight line gusty damaging winds with this storm that's moving into San Antonio. West side of town, you're starting to get more rainfall, even a little pocket of hail here just south of Highway 90, La Costa, Atascosa, Lytle, Garza Crossing area, Palo Alto College, Lackland. Within this whole area, that's where we have the primary risk for the hail. Also, more development far off to the west. We talked about that. We can get to that again later. But what about the rest of the night and even on into tomorrow? How much more do we have? We could see a few more hours of this. Let's go to Katie for the latest.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, we do want to look ahead to what you can expect for the rest of the night. We've got those two severe storms closer to San Antonio, but off to the west, looks like they just put a new severe thunderstorm warning on this line of storms that's from northern Kinney County up through Edwards County. The worst of this storm south and east of Rock Springs. Looks like this is starting to become linear, which means we're looking at more of a straight line wind threat, but there certainly could be some hail here. So if this storm cluster continues to hold its linear shape, it likely will move off to the east, and that's probably why this warning box now has been drawn off to the east. So this is east of Rock Springs. If you're in Rock Springs, the worst of it is to the east of you, moving away. However, Leakey, Real County here, eventually into far western Kerr County, this will be heading your way, likely with some strong straight line winds. So not concerned with tornadoes here, but some strong straight line winds, also some hail, obviously frequent lightning. Off to the west of Del Rio, these storms just keep developing. They've got a lot to work with tonight, so that's why we're going to keep chances of storms in the forecast through the overnight hours. So let's look at Futurecast through midnight. Storms from the west, even west of Del Rio, west of the Rio Grande, will continue to move east closer to 35, and they could become strong to severe as they move east into the overnight hours. Even through 2-3 a.m., some storms will continue to be possible. We get closer to sunrise tomorrow morning, 6-7 o'clock. A lot of this will start to fall apart, but we'll be left with some lingering showers and a few rumbles of thunder through rush hour tomorrow morning, with a lot of this shower activity finally starting to loosen up by lunchtime and into the early afternoon. We should even start to clear out a little bit by late tomorrow afternoon. So here's a look at your timeline heading into the overnight hours. Severe storms will be possible as we get to 1-2 a.m. And then as we get closer to sunrise, a few lingering showers and rumbles of thunder. But if you'll be heading to bed soon, keep that phone with you. Make sure you have a way to get severe weather alerts, because we do have several more hours of severe weather possible. Guys.
Going to be an active next few hours for sure. Thank
Absolutely.
You so much, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. And, we've seen a lot of water rescues that have come across from the City of San Antonio Fire Department, and one is going on as we speak.
Yeah, let's check in with our Jonathan Cotto, who, as I understand it, is in Leon Valley right now. Jonathan, what's the situation there right now?
That's right, Lisa. I'm currently again right off of Heath Road, where earlier before police were telling us that that vehicle was still stuck in water. Those vehicles, rescue vehicles, weren't able to access that car, but it looks like they have been able to make their way to that stranded vehicle. that's located. And we're going to try to zoom in as much as we can where you can see some of that, the police activity at the end with the lights. Right now, they're trying to make way. Again, EC Steve, police tell us that the water is up to halfway up of the car. And even if we zoom a little bit closer here, you can see where the water starts here on the road, and it's just completely inundated, completely flooded. And I just want to make a mention of, for complete road closures, road conditions, and situations like this, you can always head on over to KSAT.com to be updated with the status of those roadways. Steve, ECs.
How did they get to that vehicle? Did they take one of their vehicles in there to get to it, or are they on a raft, or what exactly is happening with this high water rescue?
Steve, from what we can see, they approached that vehicle from the other side of this roadway, Heath Road. Police here that are standing here next to us, they attempted to approach the waterway, but of course, it would just be another stuck vehicle situation if these officers try to make their way over to that stranded vehicle. But right now, from what we can make out of the lights that we see there, it looks like they're managed to actually drive their vehicle in there. But then again, that's just what we can gauge based off the lights itself, Steve.
And Jonathan, we see police there when the photographer panned over. We saw the police there. Any indication that anybody's hurt in this incident? Any ambulance or anything like that on the scene as well?
Not at this moment. I did approach the police officers here for a little bit of information on what they can share on the status of this situation, but it doesn't seem that anyone is hurt or injured at the moment. But of course, we will be on scene following up closely to see how this pans out.
Yeah, the good news out there, Jonathan, is it does appear that they actually got to the vehicle, because they were trying to figure out how they were going to do that just a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
Jonathan Cotto.
And Jonathan mentioned those roadways that are closed. We all know of certain roadways, certain parts of town that are tend to flood during times like this. The Bear flood map right now shows that those road closures are now at 33, scattered across the city, but mostly on the north side. Yeah,
and like I said, there's a number of high water rescues that are taking place. The latest taking place actually on Babcock Road and Hollyhock Road. There you see the Bear County flood map. There's some electrical outages as well, and another water rescue at 281 in Chula Vista. Saw a rescue earlier in the San Antonio airport area. So a lot of high water rescues and a lot of flooding. We are under a flash flood warning right now in Bear County.
We'll be right back.
Devin Vassell gets the start tonight against the Heat in place of Derek White, who was injured in Monday night's overtime win with the Washington Wizards. More on that in a minute. The Spurs are worried about Miami's defense, and early on, the Heat show why. Jimmy Butler pokes the ball away from DeMar DeRozan, starts the break. Then Goran Dragic finds Butler for the lane, and Miami leads 20-11. They're up 31-20 after one. But in the second quarter, the Spurs bench gets them back into it. Rudy Gay hits a long jumper, capping an 8-0 San Antonio run. Spurs down 3. Then midway through the quarter, Lonnie Walker IV drains a 3 to get the Spurs at 39-38 lead. And then DeRozan spins and gets the layup to fall for a 6-point lead, but San Antonio still trails 55-54 at halftime. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Spurs trying to rally. Kick out to Devin Vassell for the corner triple. Counted plus the foul. He missed the free throw, though, and the Spurs are within 7, 92-85. But Miami answers right back. Dragic to Bam Adebayo with a tomahawk jam over Jakob Poeltl. An emphatic slam puts Miami up by 9. Still, San Antonio doesn't go down without a fight. DeJounte Murray knifes the basket for the lay-in. Murray with another big night. Triple-double, 22 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. But again, Adebayo answers on the other end. Foul twice. He still gets a layup to fall. Spurs drop a close one, 116-111. After the game, Lonnie Walker talked about Vassell's performance in the starting lineup.
He's a great defender. He knows the game really well. He listens. He has a beautiful three-point shot. He has a great mid-range shot. Overall, I think as a rookie, he's a lot more patient than even I was when I had my opportunity. So he shows it day in and day out that he's ready, and I'm proud of him.
All right, Derek White is done for the season. That's according to Spurs head coach Greg Popovich, who revealed our worst fears for the Spurs guard, who went down again in the Spurs' 146-143 overtime victory over the Wizards in Washington. That's after he rolled his right ankle in the third quarter against the Wizards. When he went up for a block, came down on the foot of teammate Jakob Poeltl, rolling it severely. He had to be helped off the court into the locker room, did not return. Now, this has been a frustrating season for Derek, who started on the injured list following a surgery on his right foot, then had to have a second surgery on the same foot, and then placed in COVID-19 protocol. But even with all that, he worked himself back into shape, was finally returning to his high form, and now 28-game streak is over. With just 12 games left in the regular season to start the night, Pop delivered the bad news before tip-off of tonight's game in Miami.
Well, you can imagine his spirits are not high. And I don't expect him back this season.
Does it involve any surgery, or is it a matter of...
There you heard that. Next up for the Spurs, they will be in Boston to take on the Celtics on Friday. And just being told, by the way, that all the severe thunderstorm warnings for Bexar County have now expired. The Cowboys may surprise you with who they're targeting for their first pick tomorrow. Next.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys are leaning towards selecting South Carolina's J.C. Horn over Alabama's Patrick Surtain II with their first pick in tomorrow's draft. According to Bleacher Report, even though Surtain is ranked higher in pre-draft reports, after signing Dak Prescott to a 4-year, $160 million contract, any hope of improving the Dallas D will have to be done through the draft, not free agency, since Dak's new deal has left very little cap room. Speaking of Prescott, how is Dak doing in his recovery from his catastrophic injury he suffered last year that ended his season in October when he suffered a compound fracture of his right ankle against the Giants? He underwent surgery on that ankle immediately, then another minor operation to make sure there was no infection, and since that time, he's been on the road to recovery. The Cowboys brass showing no signs of concern about whether or not he'll be ready to start the 2021 season since they gave him that record-breaking contract.
Couldn't be happier. I mean, I'm sure y'all get peeks out on the field. I mean, he's just doing an amazing job of his work ethic. Of course, it's contagious with his teammates. One of the things that stuck out about Dak's leadership last year is, he was right back in the facility right after he was hurt. And, he's just, his leadership is elite. And, of course, he's doing that out on the field, and he's just making a tremendous amount of progress. And we feel he'll be 110% ready to go.
All right, Judson Independent School District is hosting multiple blood drives in the name of former Rocket football player Bryce Wisdom, beginning today at each of their high schools on the very day it would have been Bryce's 18th birthday. Bryce died of a rare form of kidney cancer last summer, but before his death had inspired the San Antonio area with his motto, Bryce Strong, that took the community by storm.
It shows me that Bryce hasn't been forgotten. It's been a whole year, and people are still just as enthusiastic and so caring about his story and his fight and his battle. And even though it didn't end the way we all wanted it to, we are all still celebrating, and we are all still pushing forward and showing what Bryce Strong is.
And what makes it so impressive here, Bryce still making his community strong as well.
Absolutely.
Young man. Yeah.
A legacy.
He died.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Severe thunderstorm warnings have been dropped for San Antonio and surrounding areas. We do have warnings out west in the Hill Country. Here's a look at some of the damage from one of the thunderstorms that likely produced a tornado earlier today, and large hail. This is Castroville. Trampoline twisted, playground flew across the yard, and looks like it got pushed into that home there, into that structure. We have some other pictures. This is in Sabinal, where softball-sized hail fell and actually punctured through those mobile homes. Hondo, you're looking at 3 to 4 inch diameter hail. That's what we were facing earlier from the thunderstorms. You look at the activity now, and the severe thunderstorms are off to the west. That's moving through the Hill Country right now. That's where we have this severe activity at the moment, far to the west of San Antonio. But we have more rainfall here, and that rainfall is going to continue to add up and add to the flash flooding potential. Those of you in northeast San Antonio, you just got hit by the thunderstorm that had some large hail and gusty winds. Right now, we're just looking at rainfall from this storm as it moves in and as it dissipates. But best to stay off the roads, as we have a lot of localized flooding out there. But right now, the wind and hail threats have passed, at least for the moment. There's more development off west, even out in Mexico, that's headed our way tonight. We're going to keep a close eye on this, especially that severe line in the Hill Country. We'll actually be back in just a moment.